Hey, it's Vicky, and today I'm here to share the books that I'm planning to read in December. They're slightly ambitious in terms of bulk, but I'm feeling kind of ambitious, so let's dive in. Okay, so to start off, there are two books that I started in November that I didn't quite finish, so I want to finish them in December. The first one is Nuclear War by Annie Jacobsen. This is a nonfiction book that basically gives you a scenario in which nuclear war happens. And I'm about a little more than halfway through, and this is probably one of the most terrifying books I've ever read. It's very stressful, and I'm often questioning why I chose right now to read this book, because it is not easing my anxieties about the world. But I will talk more about it when I finish the book in December. But yes, I'm definitely going to be finishing this in December. The other book that I started in November and hopefully I finish in December, this was the one I was talking about being a little ambitious. I finally started Under the Dome by Stephen King, and I'm 65 pages in, but the book itself is over 1,000 pages. So I'm gonna be listening to this on audio. It's about a small town where suddenly out of nowhere this large dome appears and the people can't leave and nobody can come in. And yeah, it just sort of goes from there. So I'm still in the very beginnings of this story where the dome has just appeared and we're seeing how it affects different people in the town, and we're being introduced to like all the characters. So, but so far so good. Yeah, it's a big one, and I'm really hoping that I finish it by the end of the year. And then if you guys just watched my last video, I did a book haul revisit where I revisited a book haul from October 2022. And from that, I picked The Pull of the Stars by Emma Donoghue. This is a historical fiction book that centers around a nurse working at a hospital in, I believe, England during the 1918 flu pandemic. So I'm in a historical fiction mood, and I just feel like the time is right to read this book. That's why I picked it. Like I said in that video, I have read two Emma Donoghue books in the past, and I enjoyed both of them quite a bit. So I have high hopes for this one. I hope it's really good. And then sort of continuing with the historical fiction vibe, and also this book is going to help me complete my revisit remix for 2024. So I'm going to be reading The Distant Hours by Kate Morton. So basically, if I didn't read this book in December, I would have to unhaul it, and I definitely don't want to unhaul it because I have really enjoyed all of Kate Morton's books, and this is the last one. Once I read this one, I believe I will be completely caught up and have read all of her books. So this one, I'm not sure. Okay, there are two timelines, which is very typical of Kate Morton. There's a present day and a timeline in the past. And I believe the timeline in the past is World War II era. And our main character, Edie, gets a letter. Well, her mother gets a letter, but it sends her on this sort of quest to this castle in England where these two sisters live. And they've lived there since World War II. And somehow, because somehow her mother is connected to this castle and to these sisters, and she's trying to figure out the mystery. I've always, like I said, I've always enjoyed Kate Morton's books. They're always long, but they always end up delivering. So I'm in a historical fiction mood. Kate Morton is perfect for what I'm like in the mood for right now. So I'm really looking forward to reading this. And then last but not least, I couldn't go into December and not have a Christmas book to read. So I'm gonna be reading Home for Christmas by Courtney Cole. And this one, I've read Courtney Cole before. Last year I read, I think it was called The Christmas Dress, and I liked it. I thought it was very wholesome. It was very cozy. It was very just nice. And that's what I'm looking for in a Christmas book. This one centers around a woman who inherits a house because her last living relative, who happens to be her grandmother, passes away, and she inherits this house that's been in her family since the 1940s or so. Maybe even before then. And she's kind of in a place in life where she doesn't really know what she wants to do. She's feeling like she's just going through the motions and, you know, having this sort of like life crisis. And she inherits this house in around Christmas time, and she wakes up one day after a bad blizzard and like magically is transported to the same house but in the past. And it's 1945 when she wakes up, and her grandmother is a young woman or maybe a teenager, I'm not sure. And she basically is spending Christmas with her grandmother, but this younger version of her. And it gives her this whole perspective on her family and her, you know, history and whatnot. And so I feel like it sounds really good, that it has like a sort of magical vibe to it, but also Christmassy. I feel like it's going to be very wholesome and heartwarming and whatnot. And it's just what I want at Christmas time. All right, guys, so those are my reading plans for December. Please let me know down below what you're planning to read. I would love to know. How are you closing out 2024? I would love to know how that's going for you guys. And yeah, I guess that's it. I hope you guys have a wonderful month, and I will talk with you soon. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.